This is the part 9 of digging every corner of Konoha. Hope you like this video guys, enjoy. Chapter 81, no need to hide. How are you two recently? Are you used to living in the village now? After dismissing Konoha's request for help, Asahi went to find Hisashi and Hayashi a few days later. Now, there are no more messy branch house and main house in Iwagakyo's Hyuga clan. There is only one house, and it is the entire Hyuga clan. The one who are in control are Hisashi and Hayashi together, and no one has any objection at all. Very good, at least it's much better than Konoha. Everyone at Iwagakyo is also very enthusiastic. Here, I feel that there is no such depression like in Konoha. Before, we also went to the Senju clan, but it is still a little troublesome to use transformation technique every time I need to go out. Hayashi is very helpless. Not everyone knows that the Senju clan is okay, so even if they don't use transformation technique from time to time, it'll be fine, but the Hyuga clan is different. Their white eyes are really eye-catching, it is also their trademarks. So they always need to use transformation technique if they wanted to go out. Well, you don't need to use it then. There is no need to continue hiding now. After Asahi thought for a while, he suddenly felt that this decision was a bit redundant. In the past, he asked the Senju clan and Kushina to use the transformation technique to cover people's eyes. After all, he still needs to continue dig Konoha, but now it is unnecessary. As the last one is the Uchiha clan. At that time, so what even if Konoha is hostile towards him? Right now, he wished that these people felt some hostility towards him. After all, his power has been in stagnant for a while. And in these 2 years, his mastery has only increased from 52 to 53%. The improvement is too slow that he felt annoyed. Moreover, once it is exposed, it will only send a signal to Fugaku that he is not playing around, so it is a good choice to make Fugaku surrender himself. Is it really okay? Wouldn't Konoha cause trouble to Iwagakyo if they know this? Both Hisashi and Hayashi hesitated. They knew that once exposed, Konoha will definitely treat Iwagakyo as a mortal enemy, which is no small matter. If they wanted to cause trouble to us, they need to have the ability. Have you forgotten that now, I am the new generation of the god of Shinobi? Not to mention if they wanted war or not, even if I wasn't counted, why should Iwagakyo be afraid of Konoha? Asahi said in disdain. It was not that he was arrogant, but he had never shown his full power in this world. If he used his full strength, everyone in this world will finally learn the true meaning of invincible. That's right, I almost forgot your strength. Hisashi and Hayashi thought about it. That's right, in the entire Shinobi world, who dares to find trouble with Iwagakyo is probably tired of living. That's good, in the future, even ordinary people don't have to stay at home and can go out without trouble. Hayashi nodded, as he felt that this was pretty good. Then you guys can take care of your clansmen. I'll go first and tell Tsunade and the others about this. After saying this, Asahi left. Hisashi and Hayashi shook their heads when they saw this. Asahi just come and go so quickly, but they didn't think there was anything wrong with this, as it's better than living with a mask all day, as they've spent enough time like that in Konoha. So it's not bad to be casual. Brother, let's go out for dinner this evening. It happened that I saw some novel dishes on Iwagakyo, so we should try it. After that, Hisashi planned to ask his brother out, and Asahi quickly found Tsunade and Kushina, and told them of his decision. Although it will be exposed sooner or later and I don't care about it being exposed, but sooner or later, there will be some problems. I won't talk about many, but that guy Jiraiya will definitely come to Iwagakyo. Regarding Asahi's decision, Tsunade doesn't think it was anything bad. After all, sooner or later, it will definitely be exposed, and the time is almost there, so it is unnecessary to conceal it. But it is different with Jiraiya. Based on Tsunade's understanding of Jiraiya, after knowing that Tsunade and Orochimaru are both on Iwagakyo's side, Jiraiya will definitely come over, and it will be troublesome at that time. It's not that Tsunade was afraid of Jiraiya. Tsunade never felt that she owed anything to Konoha. After all, Konoha treated her and the Senju clan in such way. Jiraiya stood from the perspective of an outsider, so he has no reason to blame Tsunade, but troublesome is ultimately still troublesome. Don't worry about Jiraiya, leave him to me. It's not a big problem. I will help you send him back, rest assured, I will not hurt him too badly. Asahi said nonchalantly. He didn't care and actually a little happy that Jiraiya came to give him experience. Then, I'll leave it to you. To be honest, Tsunade really didn't want to see Jiraiya. Although she is completely disappointed with Konoha, it does not mean that she has cut off all the bonds in the past, and it happens that the bond between Jiraiya and her was the deepest. After all, they are teammates and also the legendary Sannin. But sometimes, the line that should be clearly drawn must be clearly drawn. By the way, you should also inform the Senju clan about this. After all, they have been hiding for so long, and some people don't even dare to go out. This is a bit unreasonable. After Tsunade heard it, she nodded. The Hyuga clan didn't feel it as they just arrived, but the Senju clan was different. After coming, they used transformation technique when they went out. They were afraid that they would be discovered, which is kind of pitiful. That is good news. It's decided, I will go to your house for dinner tonight. At this time, Kushina suddenly made such a statement. Asahi is also used to this. As someone from another world, he will naturally bring something other than special ideas, so good food is indispensable. Although the food in this world is not bad, he is still not used to it, so he often cooks with his own small stove. Not to mention Tsunade and Kushina who came later, even a Hoki will often come to enjoy his food. I and Shitsune will come later too. Tsunade suddenly turned back before leaving this time. After all, how could Tsunade miss this kind of thing? Many of the dishes that Asahi made can be regarded as snacks for drink, and Tsunade is also considered a half-drunkard, so she is also very greedy for Asahi's craftsmanship, and she even asked Shitsune to learn from Asahi for a while. It can only be said that Shitsune's fate is indeed quite tragic. Although she has escaped from the original fate of evading debt, she is still reduced to the role of a maid right now. But she herself doesn't feel much about this. As for Tsunade's addiction to gambling, although it has also broken out before, it has been suppressed by Asahi. Just kidding, it is actually impossible to gamble in Iwagakure. Creator's thoughts. I am Pugwi. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 4 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 82. Chapter 82. The news comes out. Since there was no need to continue to hide, the news of the Senju clan, the Hyuga clan, and even Tsunade and the others in Iwagakure was quickly discovered by the spies from various villages. Regarding these spies, Asahi did not have the thought to clean them up. After all, even if he cleaned up one batch, another batch will come, so instead of cleaning them up and then looking for the new batch again, it is better to keep this group of people. Asahi has even grasped the information about their acquisition of intelligence and so on. Because of that, the news these people obtained is in his own hands. The information they know is limited to what Asahi and the others want to let them know, otherwise, no secrets can be obtained. This is the best way to deal with spies. And when these spies first got the news, they were stunned, especially Konoha's spies, who are start doubting life. They know about Tsunade and the others have defected, but they didn't expect that they would be recruited by Iwagakure. Even the Senju clan who should have been killed on the battlefield is in Iwagakure now. What is this called? After learning this information, they seemed to have received some incredible news, and immediately sent this information back to their villages. And this piece of information reached the tables of other villages at an extremely fast speed. How is this possible? The Senju clan, the Hyuga clan, Tsunade, and Kushina are all in Iwagakure. How did they do it? Sundame's face is full of disbelief, as he felt that this is too exaggerated. How can it be that Senju clan and Tsunade have been in Iwagakure for almost 2 years? Those spies have stayed for a long time in Iwagakure, but this information had just passed back now. Of course, it is impossible for Sundame to know that Asahi has completely controlled these so-called spies, so this information is only exposed because Asahi wanted to. Go and call Elder Danza over. After Sundame was dumbfounded, his face turned livid again. Let's not mention the information being so slow. Isn't the Senju clan plotted and killed by Danza? He knew about it at that time, and even Tsunade came back in the middle. He thinks that the Senju clan had been wiped out a long time ago, and he also got the news from Danza, so in this situation, Sundame has no idea what to say. There are so many corners in the village that have been dug by the other, it's too much. Soon, the Anbu, who received third generation's order, quickly found Danza, and Danza came to Sundame's office right away. If it was not a big deal, it was obvious that third generation would not be in such a hurry to find him. Hiruzen, what made you look for me in such a hurry? This time, Danza didn't get the information in advance. After all, Danza couldn't do everything, but after seeing the dark expression on Sundame's face, he knew that it was not a good thing. Look at it for yourself. This time, Konoha has really become the laughing stock of the entire Shinobi world. Sundame is a little desperate. If they are just rebelling, it will be fine, as there are always traitors in any village. Even Kumogakyo, who is known for their cohesion, also have traitors. But if their own people are dug into others and not because they defected on their own, it can be said that the one digging them is slapping their faces. At this moment, Sundame feels that his face is hot and painful, as if he was slapped repeatedly. How could it be possible that Ono? No, damn it, that bastard Onaki has already such an idea from the beginning. We guessed in the wrong direction from the very beginning. Danza was shocked. After reading this piece of information, he thought of Iwagakyo's strange actions when the Third Shinobi World War began, and he knew that he was tricked. Iwagakyo's people were not after the so-called supplies at all, but clearly targeting Konoha's talents, and the Senju clan was sent to them by him personally. Since 2 years ago, Iwagakyo has been using Konoha to play a game of chess with the entire Shinobi world, and now they know why Iwagakyo is doing this. Danza likes to control people as chess pieces, but when the entire Shinobi world becomes a chessboard, and when he and the other people are used as chess pieces, this feeling is called very terrifying. Yes, at that time, your guess was wrong from the very beginning. You thought that what they needed was enough benefits, but we didn't expect that what they were plotting was actually the pillar of our village. Now that this information was revealed, it's probably because they felt that our Konoha has no other talents to dig, right? Everything that should be dug has been dug. The reason why the Hyuga clan's main house was left is because they don't need them. Compared with the branch house, the main house's people are more difficult to control. They are too arrogant and prideful, so they are more willing to dig the branch house than the main house. According to information, these people's caged bird has been removed. As for the Uchiha clan, it is estimated that it is due to the situation of the Uchiha clan is almost the same as Hyuga clan's main house, so Iwagakyo does not need the Uchiha clan at all. That's why this matter has been exposed, otherwise, they had already hidden the Senju clan for 2 years, so they can also hide the Hyuga clan. I didn't expect that we were actually plotted by Iwagakyo like this. Sundame feels cold sweat is coming out on his back. This game of chess is too big. If Iwagakyo hadn't taken the initiative to expose this, he didn't even know when he would get the information. In short, this time, he has completely lost. Then, what do we do now? Do we just let this group of bastards go after doing such things to us? Danza couldn't swallow this humiliation. Because the initial guess was something he guessed, and it was him who worked together with Onaki, it can be said that he was the biggest fool in this matter. Compared to Sundame, he was even more suffocated and couldn't breathe at all. Why do you think Iwagakyo leaked the news at this time? Don't you know that this is sending a signal? Don't you see that Iwagakyo are helping us before because we have what they need? Now that they already have all they wanted from us, they wanted to send a signal to others that their Iwagakyo will not continue to help Konoha, so Tsunegakyo and Kumogakyo, who are already a little impatient, will definitely choose to take action directly. Right now, what we have to think about is not to deal with Iwagakyo, but how to deal with the siege of these 2 villages. We can still deal with 1 Shinobi village, but against 2, you should also know the consequences. Sundame is very helpless. It is very suffocating after knowing that the enemy is right in front of him, but he can't hit them yet, and he also has to coax them. Otherwise, if Iwagakyo gets angry, what will happen if Asahi takes action directly? It is clear that destroying Konoha is as simple as playing for Asahi. So this time, even if Iwagakyo opens the door to let them go in and make trouble, they didn't dare to do it, and they can't do anything except hold back their anger. Creator's thoughts. I am Pugwi. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am poor guy. Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 9 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 83, Chapter 83 The Fall of the Tree. Ha 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 ha, Konoha's face was really swollen this time. Those Iwagakure actually dug so many Konoha's people in one breath. No wonder Iwagakure allied themselves with Konoha so arbitrarily. It turned out they are eyeing the other party's people. I looked at the information in his hand and almost died of laughter. Of course, he will definitely not forget his hatred towards Iwagakure, but now it is not time for revenge yet. He also did not have the ability to get the revenge, but seeing Konoha like this, he is also amused. Reikage-sama, can we? On the side, Dodai, who is responsible for assisting her in handling things, suddenly spoke. At this time, Konoha was like a big and juicy piece of meat. All they need to do is to put in their mouths. With such a thing delivered to their door, they will be punished by God if they don't take. I know, go find B, and then call the others, and prepare to attack Konoha. This time, Iwagakure won't help them, and so many people has been dug from their village. I want to see how those Konoha's shinobi can do to stop our Kumogakure. I doesn't care about other messes. Right now, Konoha has been weakened to the lowest point in history, so if he doesn't take advantage of this, he would be an idiot. As long as he is a normal person, he knows how to deal with this matter. After receiving A's order, Dodai immediately went to inform the others, and the entire Kumogakure's army assembled quickly. On the other side, the same scene happened in Tsunegakure. Of course, compared with Rosa's life is much more difficult. Although he didn't lose his Kasuke's position directly, it was because no one wanted to take over that position. Kyo and Ebizo no longer have the idea to have that position, moreover, they also have some power in their hands right now. Originally, Rosa, who is the Yondaime Kasuke, should dominate the situation, but because of his stubbornness, they lost the war, and their defeat was also miserable, so the Rosa can only be regarded as half of Kasuke now. There's no other powerful person who can take Kasuke's position, so Rosa is still in this position, but his power is divided. If he wants to make a bigger decision, he must get the support of most of the elders. To put it bluntly, other Kage has dominant power, but on Rosa's case, the power is divided everywhere. In case of Konoha's Sandaime, the situation is similar, but as long as Sandaime showed a little tougher stance, other people won't dare to question him, but Rosa is different. No matter how tough his stance is, he can't get the approval of most people. Right now, he can be said to be the worst Kage. Therefore, after learning about Konoha's situation, Rosa was very excited. He felt that his time has finally come. After taking down Konoha this time, he can definitely get a lot of benefits. Maybe, he can take back his power from those old people, so although Rosa felt that Konoha is stupid, the first he does after receiving the news is to quickly call the elders group and have a vote. In the end, the votes were unanimous. As it is said before, now as long as someone's brain is normal, they will know what to choose. So Tsunegakure also quickly began to gather their army. The movement of the two villages naturally couldn't be hidden from the spies in their villages, so the news spread quickly. Looking at the information in his hand, Sandaime's old face was full of misery. They really didn't leave him any chance. The trace of illusion he still had was shattered so directly, but no matter how much he sighed now, it was useless. In desperation, he can only pass on the order to prepare for war. He also knew the consequences of such things. After experiencing many consecutive blows, Konoha's people are about to collapse. Now that a war is going to happen again, what are they going to do? Right now, there was wailing everywhere in Konoha. And Iwagakure's situation was undoubtedly the best. Right now, Konoha and Iwagakure's situation are worlds apart. The Iwagakure spy on Konoha began to get someone to publicize Iwagakure's situation a little bit, so the situation began to change again. A large number of civilians fled and went directly toward Iwagakure. But Sandaime can't do anything about this, because this is civilians, not shinobi, and he has no right to block the civilians from leaving his village. Immigration will always go to the place with greener grass, so they can't control it at all, which is uncomfortable. For a while, Konoha's people fled like frightened birds and beasts in the forest, fleeing in all directions. However, there are still many people who stayed, and some of these people are staying because this is always their home, so they didn't plan to leave. They plan to live and die with their homeland, and there is also those who don't have the ability to escape. Besides them, there are also those with relatives in the family who are shinobi, so this part of the people can't run away. They can run by themselves, but those who become shinobi can't. However, there are always a small number of people who can abandon their relatives and run on their own. There are still many Sandame's factions staying, such as in Oshikacho, Aburam and Inuzuka clans. So Sandame doesn't bother to care about those civilians who fled. He also didn't dare to stop them. Once he tried to stop them, Konoha's reputation will stink so badly that no one will come back to Konoha in the future. After all, if he done that, in the future, everyone will know that Konoha is a place where you can only get in and can't get out. Anyone wouldn't dare to go there as they might be killed after entering. So because of this, Sandame can't stop them, and could only let these people leave. After these people left, they quickly moved towards Iwagakure, and Iwagakure didn't refuse and welcome these people. After all, it's all about economic. When these people are able to run from Konoha to Iwagakure, they won't be able to do it without any economic strength. So Iwagakure is also happy to accept them. This is considered to be a fortune in war. Of course, that is a later story. After Konoha's people escaped, the army of other villages were also assembled, and they moved directly towards Konoha. Strictly speaking, the war this time cannot be regarded as the Fourth Shinobi World War. Because the interval is too short, it can be regarded as a follow-up to the Third Shinobi World War. After all, after every Shinobi World War is over, there will still be some friction among the various villages, and these frictions are big and small. If it lasts for a long time, it becomes a follow-up to the Shinobi World War, so this time, this war can be said the follow-up to the Third Shinobi World War. Of course, Kirigakure is no longer able to participate in this war. As for Iwagakure, it depends on Asahi and the others' mood. In fact, Asahi is also sending out a wrong signal, and this signal is very deadly. Creator's thoughts. I am Pugwi. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am Pugwi. Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 4 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 84, Jiraiya arrives. The wrong signals that Asahi released were the Konoha's clans and powerhouses who joined Iwagakure. After the information was leaked, not only Konoha, but also other Shinobi villages will only focus on one point, that is, Iwagakure and Konoha's relationships are torn apart. With so many people being dug up, the relationship between the two villages is now irrecoverable, so how can Iwagakure still help Konoha? Among the released signals, this is the most obvious point. Therefore, Kumogakure and Tsunegakure, who had been holding back for a while since Kirigakure and Konoha suffered a loss, couldn't hold it anymore. Now that Asahi suddenly released such a signal, Kumogakure and Tsunegakure will definitely act on Konoha as soon as possible. However, the hidden signal here is that Iwagakure will not necessarily let them go. After these two villages beat Konoha, Asahi can shamelessly take Iwagakure's shinobi and beat these two villages again, and the flesh they robbed from Konoha will also be eaten by Asahi. In short, it's all for themselves in this situation, and there is no one who offends anyone. Asahi is also not afraid of them jumping the wall in a hurry. Unless he is going to destroy the village, he will never force the two villages to jump over the wall. This is the deadliest hidden signal. Perhaps smart people can detect it and guess it, but people will always have illusions that such thing is unlikely, so they will subconsciously ignore it even if they know it. Now, it's up to Asahi's own decision. If he is a shameless person, he can definitely cheat the other party. But now that Konoha and the other two villages are not fighting, it is not the time for Asahi to take action. If he wants to take action, he will wait until the fight is over. However, at this time, Kushina went to find Asahi. You said you sensed Jiraiya's chakra in the village. Asahi looked at Kushina with a weird look. Uzumaki clan's mind's eye of the Kagura is definitely the best sensor technique. Any chakra basically can't hide from it. According to Asahi's request, Kushina will continue to be use mind's eye of the Kagura in the village every day. The reasons he asked her to use Mind's Eye of the Kagura is on one hand, it is to exercise her perception ability, and on the other hand, it is to find any trespasser. With Kushina here, almost all Iwagakure sensor shinobi can retire directly. Of course, this is just a joke. Right now, Kushina is the leader of Iwagakure sensor shinobi. Although the others cannot use Mind's Eye of the Kagura, Kushina can still teach the Iwagakure's shinobi a little about perception ability. Even if Iwagakure's shinobi's perception ability itself is not weak, it has become even more terrifying now. And besides Kushina, Iwagakure also has a god-tier sensor shinobi. It is none other than Onaki, who is also quite exaggerated in perception ability. As for Jiraiya, Asahi will come here after knowing the news. This guy can be said to be a copy of Naruto in the later version. He is extremely persistent towards his companions, but Asahi underestimated this guy a little. Asahi thought that he would come out in the open to find his companions, but he didn't expect this guy to be so insidious and sneak in. I see, tell me the specific location. Asahi nodded and asked about Jiraiya's location from Kushina. He is also very strong in perception. Of course, this is derived from the power of the sunshine, but his ability is relatively rough. In the past, when he lived alone, even if White Zetsu sneaked in, he could find them, but he could only find vitality. If White Zetsu becomes someone else, and mixed together with a group of shinobi, Asahi can't do anything about it. His perception is limited to the perception of vitality. As White Zetsu is alive, he can perceive White Zetsu when there is no other person around. In Iwagakure, there were a lot of White Zetsu hidden under the ground before, and this is something he can perceive. However, if these White Zetsu mixes into the crowd, and is in the same horizontal position as other people, Asahi wouldn't be able to find them. So when Jiraiya sneaked in, he didn't know about it. After all, Jiraiya is mixed among the crowd. Soon, Asahi found Jiraiya in an alley with few people. Expert's vitality is tenacious, so he can easily determine where Jiraiya is. He's different from White Zetsu. After all, White Zetsu is not strong, and they should be the same level as normal shinobi, but a kid-level powerhouse like Jiraiya is different. It was as if a large 800-watt light bulb was stuffed among a pile of fireflies. It can be recognized with just a glance. Jiraiya, one of the legendary Sannin, has actually learned how to be so sneaky. Asahi directly stood in front of Jiraiya, and Jiraiya's face changed at this moment. He reluctantly removed the transformation technique. In front of Asahi, there was no need to hide. I didn't expect to be discovered soon, but no matter how sneaky I am, I'm better than you Iwagakure's people who are digging people's corners. Jiraiya said disdainfully, but there was still a lot of anger in his eyes. Of course, it was suppressed. Jiraiya, even if you are one of Sannin, Tsunade and Orochimaru's companions, you have to speak responsibly. We did dig the foot of the wall, but we are good at swinging our hoe, so what if we dig well? If Konoha is good to them, they won't have joined our Iwagakure. Asahi looked at Jiraiya with a responsible expression of watch your words. He swings his hoe well, so what if he digs those people? If you are not capable, you should not allow others to dig up and talk nonsense. That's completely crap. You must have used some despicable means, otherwise, how could they join Iwagakure? Jiraiya's teeth were almost crushed by his gritting. He, who was not completely exposed to the darkness of Konoha, was actually quite innocent, or maybe, he already knew about it, but was unwilling to accept it, so he said such words without knowing it. This is interesting. It is too much to say we're using despicable methods. Why don't you go and see for yourself whether we forced them or they joined us voluntarily? Don't say I didn't give you this opportunity. Asahi said with a weird smile. He knew that it was impossible to dig Jiraiya, but the premise was that Sundame was still there. If Sundame died, and Danza is in power, Jiraiya would learn about the true darkness, so it might not be impossible at that time. In this world, there are nothing absolute, so he's giving Jiraiya an injection in advance. Of course, it doesn't matter even if it fails, as Asahi doesn't really care about one Jiraiya. Creator's thoughts. I am Pugwi. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am Pugwi. Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 4 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 85, Chapter 85 Konoha's Deadlock. I'll give you a chance. So that you can't say that I'm doing a show with the others for you to see who you want to see, the time and everything is up to you, you can see how they live in Iwagakure. But then, if you really still wanted to make trouble, I don't mind taking action to punish you, but I promised Tsunade that if you caused trouble, I won't take your life. Asahi is too lazy to say anything, as the facts have proved everything. Jiraiya's heart directly turned cold at this moment, not only because of he suddenly remembered Asahi's terrifying strength, but also because of Asahi's completely confident attitude. At first, he thought that Asahi used some despicable means to dig up Konoha's people. After they come here, they were placed under house arrest, threatened, and even controlled with curse marks, but when he saw Asahi's confidence, he knew that maybe the truth is not what he thought. If it's all up to him, can it be possible to keep acting and show him that they are not forced to be here? If he wanted to go immediately, there won't be enough time for Asahi to notify the others. Moreover, he is an experienced person, so he can easily tell who is acting, so his heart turned cold an instant. However, he was not reconciled, so in the end, he followed Asahi to the Senju clan. When the Senju clan was dug over, after knowing the truth about Konoha going against them, they didn't have any arrogance at all. After joining Iwagakure, they were also very active in making good relations with the people around. The Senju clan in this period should be almost the same as when Senju Hashirama first established Konoha. They are not proud of their talents and are not feeling superior from the others, so they get along very well with the surrounding people. When Asahi and Jiraiya came over, they also saw the harmonious life of the entire Senju clan and the village. After dinner, everyone chatted and talked about what to do together, which looks very harmonious. You can see it now, of course, it's just a small part. Come with me. I will take you to meet the current clan head of the Senju clan. Speaking of which, Tsunade didn't want to become the clan head, so Senju Hikari has become the new clan head. This time, I'll take you to meet him, and then you can ask him yourself why he joined Iwagakure. Asahi took Jiraiya, who had used transformation technique, around the Senju clan's residence. Watching Asahi greet these people with familiarity, Jiraiya almost already had his own guess. Soon, the two found Senju Hikari, who was in charge of the clan's affairs. Although it is not as much as a village, it was still a lot, that's also why Tsunade was not the clan head. After all, she had already joined the higher-ups of Iwagakure, and she already has enough works, so she can't manage the clan's affairs anymore. After Jiraiya lifted the transformation technique, Hikari's face changed. When Jiraiya asked why he betrayed Konoha, Hikari still looked calm, but he directly threw some information collected before to Jiraiya. Hikari let Jiraiya see for himself what did the village do to the Senju clan. If they hadn't been taken in by Iwagakure, their body would have already turned cold. After reading the bloody information in his hand, he was helpless. At that time, Danza even dared to hunt down Tsunade. When he heard this, even Jiraiya's anger was about to burst out. But he still suppressed it. He had already had a lot of complaints against the village. After leaving the Senju clan, Asahi brought Jiraiya to the Hyuga clan. The Hyuga clan was not suppressed, and the caged bird of the branch house was all removed by Asahi. So Jiraiya can be considered to know the specifics, and there is nothing he can say about this. If he is a member of the Hyuga clan, he will choose this path. After that, he was given Kushina's information and Orochimaru's information. After this information were placed in front of them one by one, this made Jiraiya sum up a key point. All of these things are actually more or less related to Danza, and the only one who are not related is the Hyuga clan. What kind of F***K-up situation is this? The reason Iwagakure can poach our people from beginning to end is because that old bastard Danza. After summing up this point, Jiraiya's face became very wonderful. I won't talk too much nonsense. You have finished reading these things, so do you still want to see Tsunade? As long as it is not someone who comes with hostility, they are all friends. Even if you come in the open, we are the same as Konoha, and won't stop you. At most, we will place a few people at most to keep an eye on you. After Asahi saw Jiraiya also learned the profound meaning of the face change of Sichuan opera's actor, he asked a little bit amusedly. Basically, he knows Jiraiya's situation, and it is estimated that Jiraiya already knows where the problem is. Forget it, I'll come for that next time. This time, I came here just to know if your Iwagakure really used any special means to control them, but many things I saw today is not something that can be disguised, so I kind of understand the truth. Maybe, Tsunade doesn't want to see me now. It's my village who should be sorry for them. I have nothing to say, but I will return to the village soon and try to rectify the village. Sooner or later, I will dig them back. Jiraiya left after saying that. Now that the war is about to break out, he still needs to go back. One is for the war and the other to clean the moths eating the village. As for the last sentence he left behind, Asahi was quite disdainful, and he felt that such possibility was almost zero. Even if Jiraiya wants to clean up Danza, Sundame and the elders won't let him do so. The information he knows will not be believed by others. And even if they believes it, Danza will still be fine. This is one of Konoha's biggest shortcomings. As long as Sundame is still there, Danza will never die. At this time, although Asahi dare not say that Danza has a lot of Sharingan on his hands, he should still have a few, and he also has Hashirama's cells. So even if Jiraiya used Sage Mode, Danza could not be killed, and Danza was the higher up of the village. And Jiraiya was just a high-level combat power at most. He did not participate in high-level matters before, so he was not qualified to do anything to Konoha's higher-ups. So once he makes a move, Danza will not hesitate to put the title of traitor on his head. Even before he makes a move, Danza may strike at him first, and join forces with other villages to take care of him first. If Konoha lost this war, the big deal is to give resources, and it will not be destroyed unless they resist desperately, but this is impossible, so Jiraiya's idea is indeed good, but he does not have this ability. Mount Mibaku will not participate in Konoha's internal affairs, and this can be said to be a deadlock. In short, Asahi doesn't care at all. By letting Jiraiya know about this, he can also let Konoha directly forces Jiraiya to his side, so why not do it? Creator's thoughts. I am Pugui. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 5 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 86, Chapter 86 Invisibly targeted by Akatsuki. As the Shinobi world is busy fighting, on Akatsuki's side, no matter whether it is Obito or Nagato, they all paid attention at Iwagakure. The reason Obito stared at Iwagakure is the same as Nagato's, the Baiju. I didn't expect Iwagakure would have dug so much experts from Konoha and even the Jinchuriki. In this way, Iwagakure should have a total of Baiju, as well as Sashiki Jonaki, Orochimaru and Tsunade, and most importantly, there is also Asahi, the god of Shinobi. With such a lineup, how can such a defense be penetrated? Kanon, who also received the news, had a disbelief look on her face. Iwagakure is too strong now, and it is terrifying powerful. Nagato will definitely try to capture the Baiju afterwards, but in the case of Iwagakure, can they even catch a fur? Iwagakure's strength is indeed beyond my imagination, but it is not too big a problem. As long as I fully grasp the power of this pair of eyes, everything won't be a problem. After all, this is the Rinnegan that only Sage of Six Paths has ever owned, and I am the god who owns Rinnegan. As for the other gods, they are just fake gods. However, now is not the time, I'm still immature, so we should wait. Nagato said in a very confident manner, but this time, Iwagakure invisibly attracted the attention of Nagato and the others. In the original work, Konoha was attacked by Nagato, one was for Kyuubi, and the other was because of Konoha is strong, so he takes action himself to take care of Konoha, and now, since Iwagakure has become the strongest Shinobi village, it has naturally become the target of others. Kanon is extremely worried about this. She also knows the situation herself, and Nagato is indeed very powerful in that pair of eyes, as he could defeat Kid-level powerhouse easily. But now, their enemy would be the one called the new god of Shinobi. Although she knows it, she doesn't want to disprove Nagato, so she could only help Nagato silently from behind the scenes. Let's speed up the expansion. Now that Iwagakure's strength is constantly increasing, we also need to get enough fresh blood. According to the list given by that guy, we will find the others ourselves. After Nagato said that, he stopped talking. In fact, although he himself is confident in his strength, he was inevitably a little scared in the face of Iwagakure, so it is necessary to strengthen his organization's strength. On the other hand, Obito, Black Zetsu and White Zetsu are also discussing this matter. Obi, no, Madara, this time, you were used as a chess piece by Iwagakure. At this moment, there is no change on Black Zetsu's face, but there is a hint of sarcasm in his tone. According to Obito's request, the current Obito is Madara, and he needed to be called that. However, Obito is always Obito. He can't disguise the temperament of Madara, and even if he wears a mask to hide his head, he still showed his tail. It is clear that he's telling others that he is not Uchiha Madara. You don't need to remind me, but Iwagakure is indeed worth noting. No matter how to make the organization continue to grow, the follow-up plan is also a huge problem, and there is no way to deal with this village now. Damn, I didn't expect Iwagakure planned so much. Obito wants to do a wave in Iwagakure, but he can't do it. The current Iwagakure is like an iron fortress, and it is much more terrifying than Konoha. He can't do anything to it at all. There's no way Iwagakure's Jinchuriki and Baiju can stay in the village forever. There are always times when they are alone. Although White Zetsu can't enter Iwagakure, they can still stay in the surrounding area. Once the Jinchuriki leaves the village, we will get news. As long as you gather the Baiju and control Jubi at that time, even Iwagakure won't be your opponent. Black Zetsu said very plainly. He is not panicked at all. After all, he has been behind the scenes for more than 1,000 years, and he feels that the overall situation is still in his own hands. Furthermore, even if he failed this time, he could just wait until Asahi and the others turned old and died before continuing his plan again. He's been living for over 1,000 years, and a person can't hold on for more than 100 years, so there will always be a time to succeed. Indeed, as long as the Jubi is completed, even if we can't create the complete Jubi, it is enough, but the chakra of these Baiju is always a little troublesome, and we need to think of a way to collect some spares first. Obito also made up his mind. He knew that this matter can't be done right away. At present, the most important thing is to kill Kirigakure's people, and the others are secondary. He has never forgotten that he is an Avenger. In this way, the forces hidden in the dark are concerned about Iwagakure. On the other side, Kumogakure and Tsunegakure also rushed into Konoha. Because of the aggressiveness of the opponent this time, even Sundame and Danza could not sit still. On Kumogakure's side, Sundame and Jiraiya coordinate to take care of overall situation, and on the other side, it is handed over to Danza and Shisui. In fact, as far as the current situation is concerned, the only advantage that Kumogakure and Tsunegakure can get is the low-level combat power. They are dominant in terms of number of people, as Konoha is constantly being consumed. Compared with the other party, the number of people is really a big difference. But Konoha's high-level combat power is not lacking at all. Not to mention, once Jiraiya enter the Sage mode, he can easily resist Hakai by himself, and Sundame plus Enma, it is no problem to fight against Anibi's strength still can't be fully utilized, so if she was sent here, she would just deliver food to Konoha. Moreover, Konoha also has hidden combat power like Fugaku. Once Mangeki Sharingan is awakened, the strength of the Uchiha clan's members will rise, and it is not exaggerated to call it skyrocketing. After all, just a normal Susanoo can push ordinary Kage-level powerhouses to the ground. As for Tsunegakure on the other side, there's no need to say much. If Shisui uses a big move, then Tsunegakure really won't have to play anymore, as their high-level combat power will completely defect to Konoha's side. So the only thing Konoha is in a disadvantage of is the number of people. It seems that Konoha will surrender soon, otherwise, even if they win, they won't be able to stay in the rank of the 5 great shinobi villages. In Onaki's office, Onaki, Asahi, Tsunade and the others are all present. According to Onaki's analysis, it is estimated that Konoha is doing a symbolic resistance this time. After all, if they surrender without a fight, then they will not even have the capital to negotiate. It is the most basic to resist symbolically, show your own muscles, and also make the other person scared of you. If Konoha really intends to keep fighting, when the war is over, then the village's heritage will be removed. All their high-level powerhouses will be lost, then Konoha will basically exist in name only. Almost, but this time the focus is not Konoha. Old man, please keep an eye on them. After they finish fighting, let me know. For now, I'm going to visit Kirigakyo. Asahi looked at the intelligence from Kirigakyo in his hand and felt that he should go for a trip. Creator's thoughts. I am Pugui. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am Pugui. Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 5 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 87, Chapter 87 Go to Kirigakyo. Aren't you talking about other villages? Why did you suddenly talk about Kirigakyo again? Except for Onaki, everyone else looked at Asahi strangely. This time, after Kirigakyo took the lead and attacked Konoha, they are already defeated and have no capital anymore. So they are confused why Asahi suddenly talk about Kirigakyo again. There is a reason why I'm talking about Kirigakyo. You all should know Kirigakyo's Yondame Mitsuki Chigura is a little abnormal now, as she suddenly started the Bloody Mist era. Although it seems that he was stimulated because of his weak power and failed all the time, but at the end of these operation, the number of death people has basically skyrocketed, and this guy is like messing around with Kirigakyo. If that's the case, why shouldn't we dig out some of Kirigakyo's talents? Yuki, Kaguya, all these clans can be dug out. After Yagura went mad, he crazily suppressed these clans, and the intensity was getting stronger and stronger. Even the Otsutsuki clan was suppressed, so I think that it would be a pity to just let it go. Asahi said with a smile, and thanked Obito in his heart. If it wasn't for Obito doing things in Kirigakyo, he really had no hope to do such a thing, and the most important thing was that the process was accelerated by him. If he wanted to poach Terumi Mai from the timeline of the original work, it is undoubtedly an idiotic dream, because when Yagura broke out in the original work, Mai has already grown up to be able to compete with him. But now, Mai is only a little bit older than Asahi. Even if she's talented, she would only have Chunin level strength at most. With her like that and most of the other powerhouses at elite Jonin level, how can they fight against Yagura, a kid level powerhouse and also Sanbi's Jinchuriki? Kirigakyo will undoubtedly be destroyed before Konoha, so Asahi must take a trip. There's nothing wrong with Kirigakyo being destroyed, but he needed to get their talents first. Hiss. Are you not satisfied with digging those from Konoha? Hearing what Asahi said, the others couldn't help but take a deep breath. He had just dug out about half of Konoha's route, and now he's already planning to go to other villages. How can this be done? You guys are indeed to blame for the global warming. Taking cold breath every time. No, it seems to be a not good to be used here, but it's not a big problem. Anyway, I will definitely dig the Kirigakyo's people, and now is undoubtedly the best time. Asahi said with a smile, he would be an idiot if he doesn't take advantage of it. As for Onaki, he has known Asahi's decision a long time ago, and he also knows that Asahi is not satisfied with only digging Kirigakyo, but also intends to dig Tsunegakyo. That's right, if it weren't for Kumogakyo's bitterness and deep hatred, and there is no room that he could exploit, Onaki guessed that Asahi would also target Kumogakyo's people. Of course, just because he couldn't dig Kumogakyo's people, it didn't mean he can't dig other things. Don't forget, Kumogakyo is famous for having a lot of good things. As long as there is a chance, he will find a way to get it, just like taking 6 paths sacred treasures. But what makes Asahi feel a little pity was that amber purifying pot was broken by him. This time, he went to Kirigakyo to dig some people. As for his percentage, he could just get them from Akatsuki later if needed be. Moreover, he can just go to Ryuchi Cave and help Orochimaru to clean up those snakes, to save the need for sacrifices for the summoning technique. Orochimaru would still fulfill Manda's offering, but if he's changed to Asahi, he would just directly summon Manda to fight, and then continue to repeat it until the other party is convinced. If this is still not enough, then Asahi will have to visit Roran, simply travel to the past or the future, sweep the enemy once, and it should be enough. In short, there are enough ways to not hinder him, and he also wondered if he could dig over Kai'Same too. At this time, he doesn't know if Kai'Same was already subdued by Obito or not. If he has become a diehard, there would be no way. After talking to everyone about his decision, Asahi went straight back to pack up his things, and went to Kirigakyo. This time, he didn't bring anyone with him. In fact, he had the thought of whether he should kill Yagura, as by that time, he could also dig Sanbi over. But after he thinks about it carefully, he chose to discard it. If he kills Yagura, he will suffer a loss. There are several prerequisites for digging the foot of the wall. One is profit and the other is threat. And the Senju clan was dug over because of threat. He has no benefit to these Kirigakyo's clans, so he can only rely on the threat, and killing Yagura would undoubtedly destroy the threat directly. He will not be so stupid to do that, so Yagura can't die at this stage. The land of water and Konoha are separated by a sea, but Asahi does not need to make any stop. He has now mastered more than 50% of his power, so he can always use the small sun to drive the road. Its speed is very fast, and it is estimated that except space-time ninjutsu, no one can beat him in sheer speed. In just 2 days, Asahi went directly from the land of earth to the land of fire, and across the sea to the land of water. The land of water is surrounded by the sea, so the moisture is quite dense. Dense mist often filled the territory, and the air is very humid. Even the temperature in this place is generally lower than other places. Asahi did not stop in other places in the land of water, and went directly to Kirigakyo. He was not familiar with this place, and he couldn't find anything worthy of his attention, so he just went ahead and do what he wanted to do. After arriving outside Kirigakyo, Asahi soon saw the person who came to meet him. Asahi-sama, you are finally here. All the information you want for is ready. This person is one of Iwagakyo's spies in Kirigakyo. At this moment, he carefully handed some documents to Asahi. Well, I understand. I want you to inform the others in Kirigakyo that they can withdraw. Kirigakyo is no longer worth monitoring. If you continue to stay here, it will be difficult for you to protect yourself. After Asahi took it, he didn't look at it. Instead, he directly stated his plan. This time, after being messed up by him and Obito, Kirigakyo is basically destroyed, and it is estimated that it will take decades to develop again. Therefore, there is no value in monitoring them anymore, and several of Iwagakyo's spies have also died in the turmoil because of the advent of the Bloody Mist era. Asahi will not let his people die in vain, so he told them to return as there's no need to continue to stay. Creator's thoughts. I am Pugwi. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 6 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 88. Chapter 88 still have to dig. That. Asahi-sama, is what you said is true. We can really go back. The Iwagakyo spy looked very excited. For a spy, the best way to return is undoubtedly to finish his mission and live a stable life after returning to their village. After all, no one likes to be a spy, because the existence of a spy is not to be seen. It's okay if they haven't been discovered, but once they are discovered, even because of the interests of the two villages, they will die in vain. Spies like them would not come here if they weren't subsidized well enough. Of course, most people come here because they have no relatives at home and feel that it doesn't matter if they live as a spy. But there is no one who doesn't miss their hometown, so Asahi's decision is undoubtedly like the sound of heaven when it reached his ears. Yes, you can go back, and the others, who were sacrificed before, will not be forgotten. Their names will be engraved on Iwagakyo's hero monument. You should pack up and go quickly. Asahi nodded. He didn't feel that his village needed to negotiate with other villages to set up any interests. With him, such thing would not work at all. Really. Thank you so much, Asahi-sama. At this moment, the spy is already in tears. After all, there is nothing more touching than being recognized. Don't thank me, this is what you deserve. After all, spying is really hard to do. Asahi couldn't help but think of the spies in Iwagakyo. Those spies from other villages were really pitiful. They were played around in circles by him. It can be said to be quite tragedy. After all, he has already discovered them, but he just ignores them and keep them as his tools. Asahi-sama, I will notify the others immediately, but I'll stay and help you. After all, a person is better than a map. The spy shook his head. He made a decision. Right now, he can be said to be Asahi's loyal fan. All right, then I'll leave it to you. Let the others withdraw temporarily. I can't protect so many people, but there shouldn't be a big problem in protecting you alone. Asahi nodded, as he felt that it is better to take a guide with him than to run around with a map. Yes, I'll go to inform the others now, Asahi-sama, please wait a moment. After saying that, the spy named Keiji went back to notify the others. After waiting for almost 2 hours, Keiji reappeared in front of Asahi. Sorry, Asahi-sama, Kirigakyo became vigilant after Yagura performed all kinds of crippling actions, so it took so much time. Keiji wiped his head with sweat and told Asahi that because of a series of policies, many people are starting to think about rebelling, and they were divided into several factions, so it can be said that it is a pot of messed shit. Because of this, the village is in the alert state now, and it can be said that it is in a very sensitive period. It doesn't matter, you can take a break first. Asahi shook his head. Keiji's qualifications are actually not bad. He is now in his 40s and has been a spy for decades. However, climbing to the level of Jonin has exhausted his potential. Of course, as a spy, he can say that Keiji is indeed very powerful. At least, the strongest spy that Asahi has seen on Iwagakure is only a Chunin that is close to Takubetsu Jonin level. And Keiji is a real Jonin. Keiji rested for a while, and after he fully recovered, he led Asahi into Kirigakure quietly. He had already thoroughly studied the patrol route in the village, so after all the way in, they still didn't encounter any patrol. Asahi-sama, the front is the residence of the Kaguya clan. Recently, the Kaguya clan is often dispatched by Yagura to do some high-risk missions, so they suffered huge losses, and they are also not from Yagura's faction. They can be said to be one of the most targeted clans. The clan head of Kaguya clan is named Kaguya Arima, and his strength is only at the level of the elite Jonin, but he is proud and arrogant. With his Shikatsu Myaku, his strength is better than the average elite Jonin, so he was very domineering, but now that he is seriously injured in a mission, it can be said that the Kaguya clan has become messy, and they seem to have the intention of rebelling. Keiji introduced Asahi some details of the current Kaguya clan, and Asahi also nodded. Kaguya clan was also dealt with in the original work because of treason. But being forced to such an extent, it can be said they are almost the same as the Uchiha clan, as they are about to rebel. Otherwise, Asahi is not optimistic about them, whose strength is capped at elite Jonin. Does the Kaguya clan have a better character? After listening to Keiji's evaluation of Kaguya clan, Asahi has no thoughts about digging them anymore. If he wants to dig them, he will also dig for a better character. If not, then he can only pay attention to Kimimaro alone. Yes, but there are very few of them, and most of the Kaguya clan's people belong to the arrogant and domineering types. There are very few people who are really good, and their strength is only at Takubetsu Jonin. Keiji nodded immediately, as he knew that there are always good and bad people in any clan. That's fine, help me get one of them to come here, I'll wait here. As for those egomaniacs, let them be played to the death by Yagura slowly. Asahi nodded, and then left it to Keiji to take care of the matter. He felt that it was really good to bring Keiji with him. Keiji was still a Jonin, so he can do many things, and it is much more convenient for Asahi. And Keiji didn't let him down, and soon brought someone here. My lord, Kaguya Kurahane has arrived. Keiji took the person named Kaguya Kurahane to this secret place, but after seeing Asahi, Kaguya Kurahane's pale face instantly became whiter, not for other reasons, but because of the horror of Asahi. Although he was not there when Kirigakure was ambushing Asahi, but those seniors' dead faces were so ugly, and almost all of them were burnt to coke. Moreover, when Asahi broke through their tens of thousands of defenses, the scene was something he won't be able to forget in a lifetime. Although Asahi's body is now in his normal young state, he will not forget this face. Creator's thoughts. I am Pugwi. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am poor guy. Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 7 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 89, Chapter 89 easily poached. What the hell is going on? At this moment, Kurahane was dumbfounded. How can I meet this demon here? Sorry, I haven't told you yet, but I am the spy sent by Iwagakure to Kirigakure. In addition, my real name is Keiji. Okay, don't worry. Asahi-sama is not looking for you to trouble you. He just wanted to talk to you about something. Keiji simply revealed his identity. Anyway, if there's no accident, he would return to Iwagakure, so it doesn't matter whether it is exposed or not. Iwagakure, do you mean? At this moment, Kurahane had a certain guess in his heart. After all, Asahi dug Konoha had dug up so many talents in Konoha, and the whole Shinobi world knew it, as this kind of news can't be blocked either. The higher-ups in the other villages were eager to let the people in their own villages know about Konoha's tragic situation, which can boost their morale, so this kind of news has spread throughout the Shinobi world, and even many civilians know about it. I am looking for you for only one purpose. You should know that I have dug so many people from Konoha. Iwagakure welcomes talents to join, and the current situation of Kirigakure does not need to be emphasized by me. Now answer me, yes or no. Asahi didn't plan to spend too much time on this person. His real purpose was the genius with 2 Kekii Genkai. Of course, it was also because the other party was a beautiful woman, but Asahi would not admit this reason. Speaking of it, Mai was also ruined by Boruto in the later period, as well as Anko. He is speechless about what the author have done to these women, as no one wanted to see beautiful women turned into fat women. I agree, it would be great if you could get us away from Kirigakure. Kurahane agreed without any hesitation. He has stayed enough in this place, especially at this time. Kaguya clan has already lost a lot of people, and no matter how they go on, the clan will be destroyed, but most of them are still planning to rebel. He doesn't know where did those bastards' confidences come from, as their strength and influence are not comparable to that of the opponent. Aren't they just courting death? Isn't it better to escape from Kirigakure? Very well, it's a wise choice. Then, you will leave the affairs of the Yoruichi clan to you. Remember, I only need to be obedient. There is also another kid named Kaguya Kimimaro, who should be only 3 or 4 years old now. You should pay attention to him, as this person must be taken away. Asahi handed the matter over to Kurahane, but after Asahi finished the last sentence, Kurahane's expression became a little weird, and he looked at Asahi with a confused expression. What's the matter? Asahi is a little puzzled, as he felt that what he said seems to be fine. No, it's just that Kimimaro is my son. Kurahane said with a speechless face. He didn't know that Asahi would know about his son, and moreover, he called his son by name. Of course Kurahane doesn't know the truth. After all, the current Kimimaro hasn't started training with chakra, so he didn't show any special features, but this situation also made Asahi's eyes twitch, as he didn't expect that the one he would dig first would be Kimimaro's son. Of course, if it wasn't for him to dig Kaguya clan, it is estimated that Kurahane will die soon, and his son will be used as a tool by Kaguya clan. Regarding Kaguya clan, Asahi is extremely disdainful, as they are using a child as a meat shield. It's also thanks to them that he can get Kimimaro. Since it's your son, it's easy to handle. Just remember to bring him. As for the others, choose some good and obedient ones. As for those egomaniacs, I don't want any of them. We'll go within 3 days, understand? Asahi shook his head and said. Kurahane nodded immediately, and then left. The Kaguya clan is almost settled. Then, the next one is Yuki clan. Yuki clan should also be very simple, and the steps are the same as the previous Kaguya clan. Because of Yagura's suppression, these 2 clans have been forced to a dead end, so there is no other way other than resistance. Asahi's arrival has actually become the last life-saving straw, so it was easy to deal with the 2 clans. Asahi-sama, what are we going to do now? Seeing that Asahi poached the 2 clans so easily, Keiji was also a little excited. He had already heard about the situation in his own village. At that time, because he was not in the village, he didn't know the specific situation, but when he knew that his village had dug out Konoha's kid-level powerhouses, the top pillar clans and even their Jinchuriki, he was puzzled. He really couldn't imagine how such thing could be possible, but when he saw it today, he didn't expect that it was too easy, and it was done in just a few words. Of course, this is also because of Asahi's deterrent. If it was him who do such thing, it is estimated that the others would want to negotiate terms with him, but Asahi is different. Seeing Asahi, the calves of these people started to tremble, so how can they have the courage to ask Asahi to negotiate terms? So this is kind of an invisible deterrence, and the pressure brought by Obito's control of Yagura also made it so smoothly. Keiji was very excited when he saw this. Okay, don't worry, there is only one last goal, Terumi Mai. Asahi shook his head and said. The other two clans were incidental, and his real purpose was Mai. In the original work, Mai should not have much conflict with Yugura, and when Mai really took over as Mitsukage, it was also during Shippuden. Before that, Kirigakyo was always under the control of the elders. Of course, that was the original work. The current AO doesn't have the so-called Bakugan because of Asahi's intervention, so now that Yugura is controlled, even if they can see it, they can't do anything. It can be said that it has become an endless cycle. Terumi Mai is a genius born with 3 attributes of chakra, and has 2 Keki Genkai. She is the brightest genius of Kirigakyo, who seems to be considered by everyone to be the next Mitsukage, Asahi-sama. It shouldn't be possible to dig her. Keiji is a little confused, as he didn't expect Asahi's target would be Mai. We can just try it. I can dig out Konoha's Senju clan, so there should be no problem with one Terumi Mai. Moreover, it doesn't matter if we can't dig her, as it won't hinder us. Of course, just in case, we'll wait until 2 days later to let Yuki clan and Kaguya clan prepare. Asahi is also not sure if Mai can be poached, as it depends on the situation. Creator's thoughts. I am Pugui. Support me at Patreon. https://www.pat*korean.com/I am Remove the asterisk. There are more than 100 chapter there. Comment. 6 comments. Vote. 1 left. Chapter 90, Silver Tongue. Okay then. Keiji has nothing to say. Indeed, even the Senju clan can be dug away, and even if Terumi Mai can be said to be a genius shinobi in the village, she does not have a huge power of her own, and there are not too many powerful people or clan behind her, so we can give it a try. In this way, 2 days later, since Mai was not born in a big clan and she is a civilian genius, if they want to see her, it's very convenient. And Keiji asked her out to meet Asahi. When she first saw Asahi, Mai's face changed. It was similar to those people before. Basically, people of the other villages, as long as they are shinobi, their face will change when they see Asahi. Well, it seems that everyone really has the same expression, but I won't say much nonsense. Terumi Mai Dono, on behalf of Iwagakyo, I invite you to join Iwagakyo. May I ask if you agree or not? Regarding Mai, Asahi started soliciting very simply as soon as he opened his mouth and didn't say much. First, it's to look at Mai's attitude. If she refuses in the first time, then he would just forget it. But if she hesitated, then there is hope for poaching her. In short, Asahi needs to judge whether Mai can really be poached based on her attitude. With Mai's personality, there is absolutely no situation where she will directly agree. Asahi can still be sure about this. Iwagakyo's Asahi-sama, is it really okay to ask me this kind of question as soon as we meet? Mai looked at Asahi a little helplessly. Although Asahi is a few years younger than her, no matter whether his strength or aura, they are very strong, plus he gets straight to the point. The current Mai is not the later Mai, who is very sultry. Right now, she is still a little girl. But she has already shown the kind of attitude that some high-ranking people have. At least, after seeing Asahi, although she was shocked, she was not too stage fright. However, her answer made Asahi almost come to the conclusion that it is not impossible to dig her at all. Right now, it depends on the bargaining chip he gave and how to convince the other party. It's better to be direct than being polite. Then, what is your decision or what are your requirements? After Asahi determined that he could dig her, he also started to cut into other topics. Why do you think I will leave Kirigakyo? My life at Kirigakyo is pretty good. After all, if there's no accident, the next Mitsukage will be me. In this case, you still think you can dig me out? Although I already know about the relationship between Iwagakyo and Konoha, but where does your confidence come from? A slight smile appeared at the corner of Mai's mouth, and Asahi once again looked at her. Yugura, my confidence is Yugura. In the entire Kirigakyo, there is only one Kage-level powerhouse, which is Yugura, and the series of policies he implemented will only make the entire Kirigakyo fall into the abyss. You might really have the qualifications to become the next Mitsukage, but don't have it anymore. Yugura's movements are getting bigger and bigger, and you have not even touched the threshold of Kwasakage now. Even if you are given 3 more years, there is no way you can directly enter Kage level. Moreover, even if you can enter Kid level in 3 years, it will be enough for Yagura to turn the entire Kirigakyo into nothing. Of course, you can also jump over the wall and fight Yagura directly. But even if you can kill Yagura, Kirigakyo will also be destroyed, and if Yagura does not die and comes back, Kirigakyo will be removed from the rank of 5 great shinobi villages. Although you have potential, time is your weakness. Furthermore, Yagura knows your talents and knows that you can threaten him. With that, your life will not be easy, and your chance of dying is very high. In summary, where do you think my confidence comes from? Asahi smiled and said his own speculation. Because it is not the original work, everything is going to unknown path, plus without Bakugan, how can Kirigakyo break the genjutsu on Yagura and defeat him? What a cruel speech, are you really only 12 years old? Mai was still too young at this time. When Asahi said something like this, her expression suddenly collapsed. She hadn't thought about part of what Asahi said, but she felt it made sense. There is a high probability that it will be the same as what Asahi speculated, and that means she is in danger. She is a civilian genius shinobi. Although she has received support from some clans because of her talent, she herself was never born in a big clan. Just like Orochimaru in Konoha back then. He was also one of Hokage's candidates. It is not that civilians are not qualified to compete for Hokage's position, but because of the need for backing. And Orochimaru had Sundame as his teacher at the time, and his strength was also strong enough. The same is true for Mai. Some clans are willing to invest in her in advance. As a genius shinobi, they will invest a sum to her. If she dies halfway, they will not lose too much, and if she rises, they can also get a lot of returns. So even as a civilian shinobi, Mai lived a very nourishing life, but when she thought of that kind of future, she couldn't help but felt chill in her heart. Right now, she very much doubts whether Asahi is 12 years old or not, as he's too abnormal. Wrong, I'll be 13 soon. Now, can you give me the answer? Yes or no? Asahi answered concisely. Right now, he has basically grasped Mai's death point. To put it bluntly, she is still young. If it is the latter Mai, it is estimated that even Asahi's silver tongue can't say anything to sway her. Is it okay to be euphemistic? I can join you, but I have some conditions. Mai was obviously swayed, so she asked for conditions. Yes, but you can't go too far. Although you have the qualifications to become a powerhouse, you are still not a powerhouse yet. Asahi glanced at Mai and said lightly. You. Forget it, I don't care about you. Mai was also discouraged in an instant. She is still too tender and there is no comparison between her and Asahi at all. This was like the gap between the little white rabbit and the old fox. In desperation, Mai can only make her own request, but these requests are basically very simple, nothing more than taking away some of her friends and relatives, and also the guarantee of her freedom, life security, etc. Regarding this, Asahi almost couldn't hold back his laugh. These things are the most basic, and it is also best for him if Mai wanted to take some people away. After all, with her wanting to take her bonds away, it can be seen that she didn't have much nostalgia for Kirigakyo. Now, he wanted to thank Yagura, or more specifically Obito, for this assist, as it is almost as good as Danza's.